Hello everybody, Razorblade Mango here, and I am literally in my car. Just got out of seeing The Jungle Book, directed by Jon Favreau of Iron Man fame. And this is part of a new thing where it's literally straight from the flick impressions that I have, or I don't like calling these review, just straight from, I'll just call it straight from the flick. So this is like the debut episode of that, and I what a special film to be debuting my new, I don't know if I want to say series, but it's like a 10-minute thing where I just talk about the movie, 10 minutes or less. And I really liked The Jungle Book. And this is coming from somebody who isn't a fan of the Disney movie, the animated Disney movie. Even though it's been quite a while since I've seen it, this makes me want to see it again. I want to see because I only remember certain parts of it. It makes me curious to see what they added in to this new one to make it longer, to make it whatever. But I guess I'll start by saying this is a very, very nice looking movie. I really liked the combination of the practical effects. All the animals are CGI, and yet it didn't look terrible. I thought the CGI was very well integrated with the environment. There's a scene where Mowgli is swimming in the water with the bear. I always forget what the bear's name is, played by Bill Murray. And he's sitting on the bear, and the bear's kind of swimming around in the water. And the way the water reacts to the character, and the way the water is splashed on the kid, and the kid splashes back, I just thought that was really impressive. And again, I'm like, CGI these days, a lot of CGI doesn't impress me. Like a lot of the stuff in, say, like the Marvel movies or whatever, I think usually has just decent special effects, but they don't wow me. Like I'm very rarely wowed by CGI anymore, and it's mostly practical effects that I'm wowed by. But I gotta say, I was pretty damn impressed by the special effects, and it's weird that this is from a property that I really have no connection with. I don't have any nostalgia for The Jungle Book, and yet I felt more during like the first 10 minutes of this movie than I did during the entirety of the animated movie when I saw it a long time ago. And I like that Mowgli in this movie, I think, is a much more interesting character. I think the kid gives a rather decent performance. I loved Ben Kingsley as the panther. I fucking loved Idris Elba as Shere Khan. I thought he was marvelous as the villain. I thought he, like, not only with just the way he was animated, but like with the voice and his just mere presence, because he has this presence to him that I genuinely was scared of this tiger and scared of what he was going to do. And he makes good on some of his threats, and he's a very scary villain, and I liked that about him. I liked him a lot. Of course, Bill Murray is the bear. I like the bear a lot. And then there's like some characters are definitely better animated than others. I think all the characters that were played by, big name actors like Christopher Walken and Bill Murray and Ben Kingsley, I thought they were extremely well animated. But some of the side characters, like the stuff that doesn't have the mocap, I just thought kind of looked all right, but it wasn't as impressive as the big animals, so to say, like Shere Khan and then the orangutan or King Louie or whatever. But I also really liked just the way it was shot. I liked that the movie has this very nice look to it. It's very colorful. Even when it's like dark, it's still very moody and interesting. When you bring on like the snake character that's voiced by Scarlett Johansson, who has a very good job, it just looks good. It just feels like a movie, and it has this very nice cinematic look to it. And I can say the word cinematic because this is actually a fucking movie rather than a video game. But yeah, it kind of got me in the beginning. I'm not gonna say how, but it actually kind of got me choked up at one point just because of how subtle the animation was on one of the characters. Like, it was like a little facial torque, and the way the actor delivered the line, it got to me. I thought it was very, very effective. Some things I didn't really like about it. I thought the way they integrated the song "I Want to Be Like You," I thought the way they casually integrated the bare necessities was fine. It's used as like a chillax, casual song, and I liked that. I liked that they didn't turn it into this big musical number. And they don't really do that with "I Want to Be Like You," but the way that it's brought up and the way Christopher Walken kind of does it, it just felt really out of place. It felt like it stuck out like a sore thumb. Also, I thought some of the points, like in the middle, I thought the pacing got kind of weird in the middle. The movie, I thought, had a really good brisk pace through the beginning, and then when he encounters the bear, that's when it kind of got a little more jokey. Like, I know they were going for comedy, but I thought a lot of the comedy just kind of was like, eh. I mostly was just impressed by the dramatic beats that this has. I was more impressed by how this kid, it's like a coming-of-age story for Mowgli, where he becomes a cub, and then a boy, and then a man by the end of the movie. And I really liked that story. I thought it was interesting. I thought the development of Mowgli was good. And I think it's a good kids movie. It's pretty dark for a kid. For a kids movie, it's rated PG. It's very dark. There's some blood in it. There's some killing, very like on-screen killing. But like I've said with certain movies in the past, and like I always say with most animated movies, for a point of reference, there were a lot of shitty trailers before the movie started. Like the new Ice Age, which and then there was that shit-looking Angry Birds movie, and then there was like some other shit, and it just reminded me the really poor state most animated movies are, or most family movies are, where a lot of them just rely on like butt jokes and shit jokes and fart jokes and having like wacky pop culture references. I cannot stand that type of animation or family entertainment, because I think it's just degrading to the gods of family entertainment like Walt Disney and Pixar and others, and Hayao Miyazaki. But I think this movie, without being overly comical and without being overly juvenile, I thought it was a very interesting movie that I can see kids growing up with and being fond of and learning life lessons from these characters. And I think that's really where I gotta, give the most applause to it, where it feels, it strikes that very good balance of, the dark and the mature stuff, and then with like the lighthearted kid stuff. It's a very good balance that Jon Favreau and the writers managed to strike, and it's very impressive. But yeah, overall, I really liked The Jungle Book. If it had a better middle point, like if the pacing of the middle area, and if some of the singing stuff was kind of just taken out or toned down, I probably would have loved this if it had like a more big impact in the middle. I thought the beginning was great. I thought the ending was pretty solid. But it's just the stuff in the middle that kind of brings it down. And I still really, really liked it. And I would definitely, it's a good recommendation from me. I'm not going to do like a rating system on this, because I think that's kind of silly. But yeah, I really liked The Jungle Book, and I definitely recommend it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you like what you see, subscribe. Probably going to do a second episode of this I will do an episode about this with Ratchet and Clank, Captain America Civil War, and some other stuff in May, like X-Men and whatnot. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.